But then I came back and they created, Napoleon Dynamite and Vote for Pedro.
I do. That's funny, actually.
They created Vote for Jen.
That's such a sign of a great team. That's awesome.
Stickers, and they
It brings a tear to my eyes, the leader. That's awesome.
Oh my God, I was totally crying.
Of course.
And they all were wearing Vote for Jen when I came back from that. And I was just like, this is the best moment of my career.
Hello and welcome to Curious as Hell, a podcast about leading and growing in today's world. My name's Tyler Chisholm, and I'm excited, as I always am, to be having this conversation with my guest today, Jennifer Lussier. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on today.
It is absolutely my pleasure. We did a podcast on one of my other shows, Collisions YYC, gratuitous plug, a while back now. Yeah. It's like kind of in the COVID blur, if I remember.
Yeah, it was.
And you are the CEO, newly appointed CEO in the last 2 months.
Elected.
Elected. You found your way to the senior role at Platform Calgary. Before we get into what is Platform, well, maybe give us a quick idea of what a platform, then I'll maybe tell my little story about kind of how I connected to Platform.
Sure, yeah.
So what's Platform all about?
Yeah, Platform Calgary exists to help connect and grow the tech sector in Calgary. We work to help tech become a viable part of the economy in the city. And we do that through a bunch of ways of education that helps early stage startups, how to, build an MVP, how to find customers, how to raise money, how to hire. And then a whole bunch of wraparound supports that include the resources it takes a village to raise a startup. And so there's a deep resource network that we surround those entrepreneurs with so that they can get the resources that they need for their next step faster.
And the numbers, I think I've heard you say recently, 900 startups?
Yeah, we have about 950 startups in membership, and about 400 or 500 of those are pretty early stage, so pre-revenue. Okay. And then,
You joked before, pre-napkin almost?
Yeah, like pre-napkin.
Yeah.
We help people go from 0 to 1. So we have a lot of programming that does that. So before you're even a business or incorporated, so Startup 101 or Discover are programs that are like company formation.
Like, I'm curious. I want to do something new in my life. I don't know what it is. I'm going to go hang out at Platform.
I have an idea. Is this a problem that's worth solving? Essentially, is where you help them filter that, flush that out. And then all kinds of things that help later stage companies connect in with subject matter experts that are in Calgary across the sectors that are here, connecting them to investment, helping them hire. And so forth.
Literally all the things that are required.
Yeah. And then we wrap that all up in an innovation center that is a hub, a beacon for anybody who doesn't know anything about tech. We're open to the public, so people can come in.
Have a coffee, hang out.
We have about 1,000 events a year, which is a lot.
1,000 divided by 365 equals, and we're closed on Christmas and New Year, so that's a lot of events per day. A lot
of events, and that's a lot of our strategy is around how do we convene and create collisions. Some are engineered, but most of them are random. And that's the whole point, where we have this very open, welcoming community and place where a founder can talk to an investor, can talk to a subject matter expert, can talk to someone who's been there, done that, can talk to a volunteer.
All while drinking the same coffee.
Exactly. They go to the water cooler and that's where the magic happens. So.
It's the Pixar model. It's them force people to bump into each other.
Exactly.
There's a lot of successful models out there. So thank you for working in the word collisions. I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So Collisions YYC was my first podcast. When I met you, I met so many people doing that. But I looked back today, episode 14, December 2019, I sat down with Terry Rock, who was the former CEO.
Love it.
And I still remember the episode because he's like, Tyler, we're going to build a parking garage for innovation. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I got to sit back. And in that time, as we rolled into 2020, 21, COVID, all the crazy things, but all of a sudden, this thing that was Platform started to literally grow, emerge out of the ground. Mm-hmm. And what he said to me was like, this diversify our economy has been a narrative in Calgary since the 80s, since, multiple downturns.
Absolutely.
But then in the last 5 years, even, lining up, for me, that started COVID till now, so much of that has seemingly come true. And I think Platform is such a, like you used the word beacon. If you drive by it, like it stands out. It's a thing. And if you haven't been to an event there, I highly encourage it. But like, it's fun to say out loud, but it wasn't there 5 years ago.
It wasn't. It was
a parking lot, I believe, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was
a piece of dirt.
It was a piece of dirt. And it's incredible too. I mean, I came in, the shovel was in the ground, I guess, already when I joined Platform.
Because you've been there, I think, according to your LinkedIn, 6 years and 8 months.
Yeah, thank you.
Specifically. LinkedIn's very precise with that sort of thing. And I really want to get into as we unpack and get into the leadership conversation. Yeah. I'm assuming when you started there, Am I being bold to think maybe your idea wasn't to become the CEO? Or was it?
It was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came out of I was in a longtime entrepreneur and in a tech startup 2015 to 2019.
Okay.
And it went under. And I was devastated, and I think we'll probably talk about that too. And
we learn from our scars.
And so Kevin Franco, who was an advisor that I'd had at the time, and was kind of my only connection into the tech sector in Calgary at that time, because it was so highly fragmented 10 years ago. So I felt lucky to know him. He's like, "Hey, why don't you come into Platform and be an advisor?" And for me, it was like quite therapeutic. So like talking with early stage entrepreneurs,
a
saying,
failing business is an MBA all to itself, right? Isn't it?
This is what I did. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Overbuild your product. Don't make these assumptions and all these things. And so, I started just thinking I would be there for a year. It was a contract. It wasn't even
okay.
It was just a contract working in what we had at that time, which was called Junction, which is our pre-accelerator program. Mm-hmm. And I was assigned a couple of companies, and Ava Industries was one of them.
We were at an event the other night, and when I realized that you were an advisor for them.
And it was just like, it was a full circle moment for me. But so no, I did not think that I was, would ever, lead an organization like that. I loved it because it was working directly with startups. And then, do you want me to keep from there?
No, let's touch on. I am curious. So you had a failed startup. Mm-hmm. Were you the sole founder?
No, there's 3 founders.
3 founders who mutual shared all kind of info, but for not getting into titles, but all in leadership roles.
Yes.
You were making it happen.
I came in as the CMO because I'd had a branding agency for 20 years prior. Okay. Came in as the CMO co-founder, and the person that had the idea was had if you want to get into the details of it, he had 80 pieces of construction equipment.
Okay. And I was doing some creeping this morning. I did realize that.
Yeah. And so the concept was, and he was had underutilized heavy equipment sitting on the side of his lot, and was doing handshake deals and sharing out that equipment to other contractors that needed an excavator, dozer, road, grader, et cetera. And so then our third co-founder was serial tech entrepreneur that was going to build the platform. Which is
kind of the formula, right? The person who understands the problem, the marketer and the communicator, and that. So, but you said you'd run your own business. How long have you been in leadership roles?
Well, I would say, really Platform is my first real. I did.
When you start a company and become the leader, is it a leadership role? I know that's an interesting.
Yeah, my agency, I only had six employees. Okay. Then in the startup, there was 3 of us, and at our largest, I think we maybe had 10. Okay. And I did end up leading the startup, but again, I would say this is my first real capital L leadership role.
Capital L leadership role, and also in a role where you're stewarding public funds. Those other roles were your own businesses.
Oh God, yeah.
I've been in a leadership role for years, but it's in a company I started. That's different. Yeah, and I recognize that. Yeah, so curious for people listening. And we joked off air. We see it. I was like, oh, she's arrived at this big role. Yeah. So along the way, how did you look at leadership? Was it just a hat that showed up, multiple hats, and was one you picked up? Yeah. Thinking about the deliberate, intentional of oftentimes we find ourselves in leadership roles, often without formal training. Yes. And sometimes without role models.
Thrust into leadership.
100%. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, and we'll get into the role today and kind of how that transitioned. But thinking of anyone who's a lot of my audience, especially for the book, is people that are I want to be a leader. I don't even know what that means for me. Mm-hmm. As you were along your journey, I'm assuming there was lots of little moments where things hit you where, this way of doing it's not working. Yeah. Or it's working really well. Just thinking about how you manage that in the chaos of startups and scale-ups and running fast and survival. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was a lot of, I wouldn't say accidental leadership, but leadership along the way where you're just thrust into trying to solve a problem. So in my past kind of roles. And now, I was thinking about this as I was driving here. And how leading in uncertainty, our startups are facing, essentially a startup is a series of experiments that you are working to test a hypothesis to try to get something to stick, right? And so that's what our startups are doing every day. At Platform, we don't, we serve any and all people that have ideas that are entrepreneurs. We're not picking business ideas that are winners. We're supporting the people that are building those businesses. So we work to essentially build better founders. Okay. If that makes sense. Yes, we're helping them along with
Well, different. You're not a fund. You're not an early stage fund. We're trying to pick winners and losers. Yeah. You're trying to elevate the ecosystem by educating, supporting, and these people that are now thrusting themselves into leadership and decision roles. How do they do that?
Yeah. And so with that in mind, we work on, how do you build a better founder? And it's the same way that we approach how do we our team of we've got about 45, 50 people on the team at Platform. And the skills that you need to face uncertainty are the things that we try to teach. So I've started this thing at Platform where I'm like, we have 8 things that we want to make everybody a leader at Platform that works for Platform.
All under the guise of being better equipped to deal with the uncertainty that is the world.
Whether you're pouring a coffee at our cafe or you're a VP of Ops, everybody's a leader. And so that's how I look at.
I love it.
That's how I look at our team. So over the past year and a half, we've done a ton of work on continuous improvement and on our culture, really looking inward. And we've had a subset of team members that are, helping to define that culture. And what's rolling up and out of that, which we're just about to kind of formally launch out,
put out to the
to the team and to the entire team, are things like agency, influence, mentorship, resilience, adaptability, strategy, all these like qualities that you need to do, which help you. So when the wind is blowing like it is outside today and things are crazy around you, you have a core set of fundamentals that help you make decisions that are, aligned with your own values and aligned with the mission and the values of the organization. Aside that, we have a whole thing around culture and about 20 other kind of behaviors that we are putting into place and being really deliberate about. That again, when you're managing, change and uncertainty, help keep you grounded. And those are things like
when it's windy outside.
Yeah, like there's
a great metaphor.
We have like about 20 of them, but there's like never vent down to your team, give each other grace. Slow down for each other, like put your phone down and look me in the eye, like things like this, right? And so these all sound like very basic things, but those roll up into things like empathy.
The most dangerous thing to do with basic things is just assume everybody knows that.
Right? And so
we do that all the time.
Yeah. So
you just know that, right? They're like, why would no one's taught me that? I don't know that.
And I think for us too, because and I think I'm really passionate about this whole thing about making everybody a leader, is because we have a lot of people there that are in their first or second jobs in their career. And as a veteran, you
and I've had more than 1 or 2 jobs, 100%.
Yeah, it's 100%. Like how can we help? So when someone's there, they're leaving. Like we obviously don't want them to leave, but when they do leave, they've got a toolkit, and we've helped develop that.
If you're successful, they'll all leave.
Well, yeah,
right to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we are a bit of a talent accelerator in our own right? And because the networks of
raising a bunch of startups that will hopefully go off and do the next stage.
And we've had people leave our team forced to work in a startup or a scale-up, which is
interesting. Even for your own team.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about this 900. The whole point is that they go on, right? But no, you're talking about your own team and making sure that no matter what role you're in.
I'm trying to make a correlation between like how I look at leadership through uncertainty and how, these are, if we get in the shoes of our startups and we live there, this is what it feels like. And so how can we, really it comes down to these core I'm just calling them fundamentals, that help us kind of manage this change.
But not taking them for granted, and being deliberate about them. So different than your values? Or do they run alongside values?
They're like pretty parallel, right?
Yeah, I would imagine they're pretty in sync.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're acting this way, you're probably living our value over here.
Yes. Right? Yeah. So
when you were earlier in your leadership career, did you learn some of these the hard way?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Any stories you'd like to share?
Trauma
plus time is hilarious. Yeah. So if it was long enough ago, it's funny. That's my rule.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, oh God, I don't know. I made so many mistakes, but I think for me more I've been leading in situations. I think now I have the confidence to lead in the situation is the biggest difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that's.
Define confidence.
Just again, going like, I know who I am, those core things give me my ability to stand tall. And
how many bullets come in, I'm still me.
Yeah.
How windy it is, I'm still me.
I think the other thing on it too is around understanding the stakes. And so some things are high stakes and some things are really low stakes. And so again, help you when you're facing risk or uncertainty, there's always context around that. Like how big is this risk? And in the past, I've made things so high stakes when they were
They
so
weren't.
low stakes.
That's great. Isn't that Bezos? Like, is this a level 1 or level 2
I guess,
door? Can we walk back through the door if it doesn't work out?
Yeah.
Or are we committed once we go into the room?
Yes. Yeah.
And we tend to make everything important and urgent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a downfall in our urgent. Not everything is important and not everything is urgent today.
Well, and I think, there's a lot of, we live in a very entrepreneurial city that is very much on the, leading
why I live
edge.
here. I love it. I love it.
And I think it always is like, there is a sense of urgency and not execution, but act, a bias to action.
Get shit done.
Yes, exactly.
We're a get shit done city.
Yeah. So
I love bias to action.
Kind of hard
So
to
in a
balance
leadership role, part of the theme of this season, which has moved around a little bit, is the risk of certainty. And I've had some interesting reactions when I say that, like, well, I'm a leader, I'm supposed to be certain. But I'm like, is it even possible to be certain about, there's too much coming at us.
Yeah.
And so how as a leader, when you think about some of these fundamentals you're talking about, where does that balance between, like, I'm the leader, so therefore there is a certain responsibility that sometimes the buck does stop with you.
Yeah.
You've got to make a decision.
Yeah.
But I'm so certain I'm not even going to include anyone else in this decision. That's where I think it gets dangerous. But I don't know how, in thinking about the fundamentals you're talking about, where does that balance of certainty versus inclusion versus shit, it's 4:00, I got to make a decision.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
Yeah. I think, it's a great question. With, it's a very fine line. And in talking, we have public funding, for example, where, we're going up for a certain amount of dollars and we have some level of certainty we're going to get to X amount of dollars. And if we don't, then we're going to have to make some decisions. And so how much of that do you share with the team?
That's a great example.
Right? Like you don't, so I'm
because that could mean jobs.
Yes.
It could be because do a whole bunch of really cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
There's much more to the scales of that, but at the end of the day, do I feel safe and secure as a team member to go forward?
Yeah. And so I think with the team, I try to lead in a way that is very open and honest to the point where I will shoulder the scary bits and communicate the known. But I also talk very openly about things that are difficult. And so I lead with, I think the way that I try to balance that is like leading with some vulnerability. Like when I was interim, I was very open and talking about it with the team. And I was sharing, okay, I'm going up for my next interview. And Kate, now I got another one. And
is that you were interim for 6 months?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not trying to change the topic, but
no. Because I'm dying. But how weird was that? But we'll park that for a second.
Sorry.
But I appreciate because that is a great example of like where's the line?
Yeah. And I think again with team members that are maybe this is their first job or nonprofit is kind of different. I think in some ways people are drawn to work that are hot, like impact driven, like you wouldn't believe. And I think generations younger than me are also more impact driven in general anyways.
Yeah, that's fair.
But so I think that there's a lot of eager and really highly motivated people to do great work. I can't remember why I was saying that now. Sorry.
that balance of the fundamentals and the need to create certainty as a leader, but the risk if you get over certain, then you over-index and you end up way off over there by yourself.
Yeah.
What is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, bring a group.
Yeah.
But certainty can be really alienating. But as a leader, a wishy-washy leader is also super challenging in an organization.
Yes.
People don't like that. You're like, holy shit, isn't it your job to actually make the call?
Yeah. And so, I think the key there is in what I've kind of done very deliberately is, here's our strategic plan. We absolutely have it. Nothing is changing on it. Things in it might vary a little bit, but this is our goals for the year. This is our and the public funding actually gives you certainty for chunks at a time, right? Because they're usually multi-year grants.
Yes.
And so, there's pieces there. And where there is uncertainty is more around how much revenue can we generate ourselves through this new idea. And so because
which I know has been part of the journey of Platform in general, right?
Exactly.
To go like, what's sustainable?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah, we love it. Do we have to pay? Like I've heard a lot of things around the challenges of like, where does the model actually net out over time? And when you have government funded, any business that has too much relying on one funding source is a challenge.
Yes.
Let's forget about if it's government or private.
Yeah.
But you've got that weighing on you as well, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to get us to about like a 60-40 public to private.
In terms of a balance?
Yeah, we're about 80-20 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I appreciate it. Have you always been transparent as a leader? Is that just kind of who Jen is?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it ever backfired?
Uh,
I'm sure it has because
yeah.
it has for me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I think it goes back to that. Being transparent is also being, if I'm feeling off or if I'm not feeling confident, it's going to show. And that's where it's really backfired on me.
Okay.
Like it's hard for me to be, if I'm not feeling confident, you will know. And so those are really challenging. And I've really worked hard on that. Like, and that's where is this high stakes? Is this low stakes? Comes in and helps me self-regulate. That feeling is around, okay, sometimes when it's high stakes, I have way more confidence. And sometimes when it's low, like it's the weirdest thing, right? Like the things you think you would have, we have Minister Solomon on the stage and I'm like, I should really be nervous right now, but why am I not nervous, right? Or in something that's really low stakes. And then I'm incredibly, you know what I mean? And I think it's that.
With the low stakes one, is it often, I'm double clicking as the kids say on that one. Because sometimes when it's low stakes, you don't actually have as much information.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, what do you think about this? You're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're just hitting me with this now. I don't know. But the big, what I heard from an agency owner years ago, the elephants don't get you, the mosquitoes do.
Yeah.
You don't miss the big invoices, but the mosquitoes that give you malaria, those are the ones that get you and eat away your business.
Yeah.
And when someone calls me like, hey, what do you think about this? And I have to catch myself. I'm like, don't try to be the expert right now. I actually don't know.
The thing where that's really come for me is in, what I've learned is the more prepared I am, the more context I have, the more I know. I mean, I know my thing. Like I know what I need to, like I know it, right? I know my shit. But actually,
quote of the day right there, Jen. I love it.
But actually, sometimes you get caught off guard in a media interview, for example, where
it's a great example.
And that to me is high stakes. And I've tried to reframe it as low stakes. And that helps me when I'm in those, because it's like, I know this stuff. I'm just answering a question to another human. This might be on the news, but it's okay. Like, it's like that. So that's how I try to flip on the.
I think as leaders, as humans, the stories we tell ourselves, we have to be, we can choose.
We can choose. You're the biggest obstacle in your own way, right? Always.
All my stories can get.
I'm not you.
My story. Oh, no. I'm not, that was no argument for me. There was no argument. The stories we can tell ourselves as leaders.
Yeah.
Have you always had, do you believe in, have you always had on your journey, like mentors or those people that are invested but outside? Because if someone's working with you or for you, they have investment that's different and you have amplitude and volume that's bigger. Yeah. But if it's peer, I've put myself in peer groups because they'll be like, oh, hey, you're about to step on a landmine, by the way.
Yeah.
And their vested interest is, it's a term I used, I learned long ago, carefrontation. They care enough to go, actually, I'm going to call complete bullshit on what you just said.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes to get that in your teams when you are the CEO title on your door. How do you balance that? And do you curate those people in your life that'll call bullshit on you?
Yeah, I wish I'd done that earlier in my career. Okay. I don't think I had a lot outside of my my father, who was a massive mentor for me, and my mom as well. They built up a business, and I watched them take risks and do things through my entire formative years, I guess you could say. And so I never really tried to formally build that advisory board until now, I guess. Not now, but the last couple of years I've really been more focused on it. But I think it's super important. I think you need to have those people that you can just say.
I believe I didn't have them. I didn't have them earlier either, and I stepped on a few landmines. And I was like, I need to revamp. Yeah, because my perspective is only my perspective.
Yeah.
Is that something you encourage with your team? Like, is it because different environments look at that differently? Some environments are very hierarchical and climbing on top of each other, and others are like, no, I'm going to support, or hey, I'm just going to run this like in our world. Hey, I did a scope of work. Just take a look at it because I've been staring at it for 2 days. Like trying to really encourage that, where it's like you're not admitting weakness, you're just asking for another point of view. Yeah, and again, we all have our own baggage, right? As leaders and as just humans.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at Platform, we're highly democratic, honestly. And we really try to create a culture. Like this is what are the stakes? Safe place to fail. Yep. A ton of sharing, a ton of,
and we have, the word experiment is powerful.
Yeah. And we have, all these teams that are working kind of, we've got program team, we've got an events team, we've got a partnerships team, we have the venture growth team, we've got the, marketing team, like there's so many. Yep. And we're all working on this, fairly complex solution that isn't just for entrepreneurs, but for investors and for support organizations and for,
You have lots of stakeholders.
Yeah, exactly.
That all have a say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so we also are about to launch on a program which is around finding a mentor internally in the organization. Okay. And we've done a whole bunch of work on like, what are the careers that are possible at Platform? How can we really define the skills that need? It goes back to that whole culture piece, and how can you move up and around? And I've had the privilege of wearing like so many hats at Platform that.
You have like what, 5 different roles? 6,
Yeah.
5, 6?
Yeah.
I was looking at your LinkedIn and it was diverse.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just kept raising my hand and getting opportunity here and here and here. And so we're trying to promote now is like, we're calling these the career trees. And so you can jump a tree. So I've jumped a couple trees. And in order, if you want to jump a tree.
I love the metaphor, the visuals are great for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump over here.
Yeah. And in order to jump a tree,
showing people what's possible.
Get a mentor,
is great.
Internal mentor that's going to help you get there.
Oh, I like that a lot.
We want people to, I would love everybody to move around the organization as where possible, as much as they want, and get the.
You also have a higher chance of retaining them that way.
Build a resume, and give them incredible experience, and so that then when they do leave, they're like fortified with so many new skills and qualities and behaviors and attitudes, right? Yeah.
Would you describe your leadership journey as just you made the comment, and my AI suggested I bring this up with you. Looks like you put up your hand a lot. Like, sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'll do it. Yeah. Hey, you want another role? Give me an opportunity. How much was saying yes part of your leadership success?
Oh God, like, I think it's entirely.
Okay.
Well, awesome. I wouldn't say entirely, but yeah, if you don't.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I was an advisor, and it was a contract position, and I wanted to honestly earn a little more money. And I'm like, what else can I do at this organization? And this is before I started working with Terry directly.
Yep.
And so just saw that they were starting on a donor campaign and a partnership campaign. And I just raised my hand to help on that.
Put me in, I'll do it.
Yeah. And then that just led to one thing led to another. And it's agency, right? And I just was like, well, why wouldn't I go for this? Like, it's easier for me to, it's like, easier to find something from your existing customer than to find a brand new customer.
But yet we're scared too, because there's this weird rejection model. I've listened to an article about this the other day, but the new customers are all full of potential, but we're going to overlook this whole data CRM that we have of customers. Then they might say no.
Yeah.
Did you feel unbridled confidence every single time, or did you just do it anyways?
No, I think, I don't know. I
feel loaded my question there.
Yeah. I think on the, like the partnerships thing, I think they had a goal of, let's get 30 organizations aligned. This is when the Platform Innovation Center was being built. And kind of back to that point around how fragmented it was, where if you're an entrepreneur, you're over here and talking to this one, and then you're over here and you're looking here and here and here. And so
there's a whole bunch of circles, but none of them are overlapping.
Yeah. And the goal is to get a partner network that would be at the hub at Platform. And so they gave me a target of 30, and I got to 30 in about a month. And so I just kept going, and I got to 150. And it was just like a phone call.
Way to over-deliver.
It was like all during COVID, right? And it was like, hey, this is what we're doing at Platform. I want to make sure your organization and our organization's aligned in the same, pointing in the same direction. We're all here to help the tech. Are you interested? Do you want to sign an MOU?
Yes.
Back and forth, yes. And it was just like boom, boom, boom. So I don't know. Like, I think what I learned through that is that I can, it's anybody, when you naturally believe in something, it's easy to sell it. And
you don't actually feel like you're selling at all.
Not at all, right?
I know.
Yeah.
How are you so good at selling? I'm just telling people about something I'm excited about.
Yeah. And that's what happened. And that really that really gave me confidence and gave me heft. And then we started the growth team as a result of that. And then that branched out into, okay, what are our unrestricted sources of revenue that we can go after? Like, I like to go and hunt for things and pull them in, right? And then, so I think that's where my skill set, which I wish I'd had it soon, like when I had my own branding agency. I just people just came to me. You know what I mean? Like, it was a different time.
I know, 100%. No, and going out there and deliberately and hunting. But you didn't have the skill until you went and honed it, practiced it, did it. Like, just waiting until it's perfect and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the journey, whether it's entrepreneurial or otherwise.
Yeah.
What is it? Show me a perfectionist, I'll show you a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Well, when it's perfect, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Define perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, but it changes every day. And I think in leadership, I've talked to a lot of people here. They're like, well, it's funny. I get some feedback from some younger people. They said, hey, reading your book actually helped me see that I could maybe have a version of what leader is for me.
Yeah.
Because looking at what's out there, I never saw myself in the reflection. So therefore, I never thought it possible.
Yeah.
If you don't think it's possible, you're not going to move towards it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting balance, right?
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah. And it's helpful to see others do it before you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is, what is it? The joke is, I think statistically 83% of people admit it, 17% lie about it.
Yeah.
It's been a real part of my life. But every time I feel it, it's like I know I'm moving in a direction. I'm like, oh, it's interesting. Where'd that go?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just, I usually know I'm wading into some interesting territory.
Yeah.
Because I treat it as an indicator that, oh, this is uncomfortable for a reason.
Yeah.
Pay attention, but don't run away.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to run into the fire.
Yeah. Don't you though?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs,
I
you have
think so.
900 startups that are running into the fire.
We do.
Does that just permeate the whole organization? Like you have people that come on, like I'm an entrepreneur and you have someone who's very purpose and very passionate about the community. Out of that 50 or 60 employees, have they been entrepreneurs or are there people that are just want to be part of something? Like it's an interesting dichotomy between two sides of the house.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that there are entrepreneurs there and there's both.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's absolutely both builders and innovators. And then it's so inspiring, right? Like you're on the front line of the possible. And,
a great place to be, the front line of the possible.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I sat in on
some good taglines.
Thanks.
Good,
I
like
came up with that.
You marketed for 20 years. That's why I get it. Our brains just write taglines.
Yeah. But I sat in on we've got a new workshop up called Discover 201, which is essentially helping, find the person that you're solving the problem for and talk to that person about their problem, not about your solution, right? And so I sat in on it and I'm just you're listening to the ideas and they're just raw and very early and it's the possible, right? And it's
usually excited and it's passionate and it's like kind of messy.
Yeah. And it's like it's something that like tech I think is incredible. You're not tied to the price of a commodity or
even the way it was done before.
Right?
You're actually running contrary to that.
It just feels so, I don't know. I'll never leave tech. Yeah.
I love your passion for it. So when you're working and coaching and mentoring people on your team, or even right through to some of these, how do you approach when someone just like self-sabotaging, no confidence, won't take those risks? Like there's a narrative. I might be really passionate to solve this problem, but like back to our joke earlier, we get caught up in our own narratives.
Yeah.
When now you're in a leadership role where you're looking to elevate all the people around you, and I get that impression chatting with you.
Yeah.
How do you then confront it in a positive way when they are truly their biggest obstacle?
Yeah. A couple ways. I usually try to share something that I've done in order that is relatable, something I've either failed at or where I felt super, inferior or something that was really hard.
I too have experienced this.
Yeah. So open with that. Again, on lowering the stakes. I've had this with multiple conversations. We are not saving lives. We are not ER doctors with someone on the table that is about to die. Yeah. Our work is important. Yes. And some could argue it is critical, but right? Like nothing is as important as the way that you're feeling right now. Nothing is as important as the humans that all work here. Like we are all people. We're all humans doing, trying to do something together. And so I always bring it right down to that. I'd say those are the two things. And then I also, I try to flip it so it's like either through humor or not humor around like making fun of them, but like turn it into something that you could.
Thanks for clarifying. No, I was pretty sure that's not what you meant.
No, like just something that
you call this a real problem. I'm like, whoa, this is not the coaching I was looking for.
Or like try to make it, try to lighten it, and either through enthusiasm around what's possible. Again, like flipping it to be like, oh, well, sure, this might be a problem, but what about this if you actually...
Power of reframing.
Yeah, reframing. Yeah, thank you. That's what it is.
If I may be so bold. Well, it's so often because we get this vision and someone's like, well, what if? I love that. Well, what if we just flipped this around and looked at it the opposite way?
Yeah.
I remember years ago, this is one of the things I talk about in the book. And a friend of mine got back from a conference and she's like, oh, best thing ever. I said, top 3 things. She's like, oh, I can't even give you top 3 things. And I was like, what would it be like if you could? And then she did. Yeah. And I was like, that felt like a parlor trick. But it was just a slight reframe and creating possibility. Yeah. So, man, we tell stories in our mind that often can have more closed locked doors than open doors. Yeah. But like, hey, let's just, even the power of you and I switching chairs, the physical. Ooh, yeah. Like, now let's look at it from another perspective. Mm-hmm. I could interview you. I really can't see it from the way you were seeing it because you changed your perspective. Yeah. And does leader mean coach for you? Do those 2 words hang out together?
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I think in the different leadership roles I've been in, I don't know. Like, when do you stop being the coach, and when are
I
you?
don't know if you ever do.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever do.
I don't know.
Maybe that was the root of the question.
Yeah.
Like, the more I spend time in leadership, the more I see my role as coaching and helping elevate the people around.
Yeah.
Helping and elevating the people around me. Coach seems like the appropriate word to use in that setting.
Yeah.
Which usually means being curious about them, asking more questions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, what if this wasn't as serious as we think it is? I'm not
Yeah.
saying you're wrong, but let's just play around for a minute. I've gotten better at that with time when I started to embrace it versus like, let me solve your problem for you.
Yeah.
That was not coaching, and that was not also successful for me.
Yeah. 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 That's really interesting. I think more so than ever now, I feel I am that the making better leaders is my job.
Yes.
Like, more so
I
than
tend
I
to
did.
agree. So yeah,
like,
absolutely.
more so than I did as COO or in prior
interesting.
roles. Yeah. I think it's shifted.
Was there just
for
more
me.
focus on the performance, the job?
Yeah. I
Because
think,
there's the concept of working leader. I'll tell you some stat. Like 80% of leaders today are not ivory tower, big strategy here to help the world.
Yeah.
They have deliverables of their own.
Yeah.
So it creates a really sandwiches in the bandwidth you have to support your team.
Yeah.
And then you get raked over the coals by whoever, your board or whatever, for not leading.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, did you get all these deliverables done?
Mhm.
It's a real dichotomy in the world. We're so addicted to output.
Yes. Yeah.
But
And I'm a doer. Like, I'm a
sleeves, get her done.
doer my entire life. And
Yeah.
so coming up and out of operations is interesting too. Yeah.
How have you managed that?
I started like, so I used to get on every like membership at events at all the group emails, and I would like, as a COO, I'm like in every one of them, right? I'm like just monitoring,
all over it,
checking,
just all over.
just like not like micro, but just
No, you're staying informed.
Yeah. So I started pulling out of those, and it's just like, oh, yeah, my inbox is shrinking a little bit, and but no, being more deliberate about delegating and trying to. But when you're, I think I said this to you the other day, like I can't unsee the problems. Like, they're still, or the issue or the block or the whatever. As COO, that's kind of, you're constantly trying to, someone's throwing something over the fence to this team and they're throwing it back,
and you're seeing it.
Yeah. And so it's hard to unsee that stuff. And so I feel actually lucky that I have that kind of background that I can know, still those things are undercurrents are still there, but I can work on them, but not directly anymore. Yeah.
So I heard someone say this the other day, and I loved it. They were a leadership coach, and they actually go on this long walk when they onboard a new client, a new coaching client. And they actually, part of their walk, there's a cemetery. And when they get to the cemetery, I said, what part of your old leadership has to die for the new leader you want to be to grow? So we're not in a graveyard. We're not in a graveyard, but I thought the visualization was powerful. So for you, because you're right in it right now, and you kind of touched on it, what part of maybe COO Jen has to pass away respectfully? We'll have a nice funeral and everything. We'll have a party after. For the new CEO Jen to come alive.
Yeah, I think kind of what I just said, right, is getting out of the weeds and getting out of people's business. As far as I'll see something, and my instinct would be, if I see some email come in that could be a new potential event client, for example, and I'm like, oh my God, Megan, this is a white glove. And it's like, no, she already knows that. Like, I don't need to keep doing this. Right. And so it's like, and I'm doing it because I'm excited, not because I'm like making sure it gets done. Like, it
doesn't always get perceived that way by the people that you do it to.
Well, I always apologize.
I'm speaking again, personal experience. Oh, you didn't find my meddling helpful? Weird.
Yeah. But I always apologize, right? Like, it's like, I know that. And so then I'm like, okay, go like pull out of those. And then I think more future looking is where, right? Like, I'm it's been a lot of reactive work to date. And now it's like, okay, no, I'm not looking that way. I'm looking this way now.
Is Platform still a startup, or is it a scale up?
Yeah, it's so, I know. And this is
the elusive, what is a startup question?
I don't like to say that we're a startup partly because when, you have government, we're responsible stewards of public funds. We have employed a large, we've got an asset. We have like all these things, and I don't really love the term because it sounds like it's unstable. Yeah. And so for that reason, I don't like that term. And we've even had feedback from the team on that. Like, it's just like, no, like we're not like,
No, because it implies by its nature so many things.
Like that it's going to go away, or that we don't know what we're doing, or So
if I'm a startup looking for help, I'm probably not going to go to another startup.
Yeah. So to answer your question, though, I would say we are definitely in scale mode.
Okay.
In 2019, we saw like 300 entrepreneurs through our programming. Last year, 1,500.
Nice.
Organic growth, right? And so how do we our same with the tech company membership. Like, how do you serve 950 companies at scale? And so we think in scale now. We think in scale. How do we serve at scale? We have, 30,000.
Putting the right filters even on what you're doing.
30,000 people coming through our doors a month. It's like a university campus coming through Platform every month. It's insane.
It's so awesome. Though.
It's insane. It's 6
amazing. Years ago, it wasn't there.
And
or 7 years, it wasn't.
And they're coming for like talent. They're coming for investor events. They're coming for public events. They're coming for, all kinds of things, right? And so so to me, the focus now is systems for scale. How do we do that? And then how do we just what are the headwinds coming that we need to be aware of, which of course is AI. And how can we help our entrepreneurs navigate the tsunami of that? Where
the business that they've spent 6 months working on that now just got wiped out because of an
agent,
because of an update on Claude or whatever.
How do we help? And so that's and
back to the risk of certainty.
Yeah.
In a world that's completely unpredictable and I don't know 10x faster than it was even 3 years ago.
Exactly. We used to run courses or programs that could run for a year. We currently have like a 9 week program right now, which is probably going to be the longest program we will ever have moving forward. We need to shift into
the world will outpace your curriculum.
Bite-sized content that's matching the speed of the entrepreneur, that's helping them adapt as it's changing week over week. And so that's a big shift of how we need to change moving forward. And so those are the kinds of things I think I need to shift my thoughts into is
a little more gazing.
What do these entrepreneurs need that because content. I already said. Yeah.
You're trying to intersect the bullet that's going already moving. In amongst that speed, and you touched on it before, values and fundamentals, and how do you keep score for yourself? Like, do you have moments in the morning where you're like, okay, which version of Jen's going to show up today? Or at the end of the day, sometimes that version of Tyler was not the best, most functional version that showed up in that meeting. I was reactive, I was under stress, and I acted like a shithead. It's possible. It happens. Yeah. How do you heal thyself?
Oh, well, that's, I'm figuring out how to do that. I think for me, tactically or
both, either way, philosophically. It's one of those kind of questions. It can go in a bunch of different places.
Yeah. In fact, we have this people leaders meeting once a month at Platform. So all of our kind of, I guess you could say middle management.
Sure. Yeah.
And 2 of our team members shared a leadership course they had just taken, and that started with a circle, and it was like, okay, here's your work thing, and start pieing out exactly what you do.
Yep.
And it's crisis, leadership, ops, like all these things.
And then you fill it out, and you get to see the balance. I like those.
Yeah, and then the piece,
they're very revealing.
And this was very timely, this question, because the one that was like grounding yourself was one of them. And so you did it twice. You did the first one and say, what's the current state? And then what's the future state? And what I learned out of that was my ground oneself was like, 1% of the pie. But that really got me thinking. And the way that I do that is through exercise, early morning. If I don't get my time between 6 and 8 in the morning to just be and do whatever I'm doing. I could be working, but I'm also just, calm.
Yep.
If I don't get that time, I see myself later in the day having, not showing up the way I want. And we actually had this exact conversation. And so a more deliberate attempt to do more of that. Every day I need to do that.
I love that you're having that conversation with your team as well.
Right.
Because it gives permission sometimes to something that's like, oh, that's kind of fluffy. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. It's really, it's kind of table stakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't take care of yourself, it's hard to show up for anybody else.
Yeah. And
a lot of leaders, I joke, I've been reading some articles, but the 4 burners. You get your work burner that gets turned on high.
Yeah.
Then you have your health burner, the family, and then your community burner.
Yeah.
And we all tend to we get very rewarded for turning that work burner up high.
Yeah.
And then, but if you neglect those other burners, eventually they burn out.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get them lit again.
Exactly.
It's a great visual because I think it was somebody in the Valley that said, if you want to be a successful at this next level, you can't get all 4 burners going.
Yeah.
But then what price are you actually deliberately paying versus all of a sudden waking up one day and going, oh shit, I screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough because this balance is the biggest,
Yeah.
I know, thing that's put on top of us as leaders, as humans. Like, you need to be in balance. What does that even mean? How do I do it? So often there's often a guidebook that goes with that statement.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially now, like I think well, as interim, I was kind of campaigning. I'm at every event. I am like doing everything I can to demonstrate.
Campaigning is a powerful word.
To demonstrate that I am the person that should lead Platform. Like I'm trying to demonstrate. I was like, it was like a 6-month-long job interview.
Okay, so you wanted it right out of the get-go.
Yeah.
I've been dying to talk to you about this so much.
Yeah.
So you're like, I wanted it, I'm going for it. It wasn't like, I'm going to fill in the space. Do you find someone? I'm going to sail off. That wasn't the goal.
I wanted it when I became COO. I wanted it when I
Nice.
became COO. But yeah, and so now.
Did you make that known?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, just in case you guys are thinking about this, Terry, because you and Terry work closely together.
Yes.
He's had moving on. Hey, just so you know, hey.
Yeah.
But like I'm hearing for your whole career, you put your hand up.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that? I know this is the right term, but I like to use it because I've never used it on a podcast. Were you a lame duck CEO because you were interim? So like, could you be the leader, or were you just filling space? Like, how did that go?
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. It was good. I mean, so Terry left in a very, for reasons of funding and not being on both sides of a funding table. He had a very quick exit from Platform. Okay. And
I remember, I heard about it and then it was done.
It was 3 weeks. Yeah. And so, stepped in and Terry was very gracious and generous in the way that he shared a lot of the leadership roles with me when I was COO.
Cool.
With the exception of philanthropy and GR, government relations. And so I was already very much in the weeds of all of the things, right? And so it wasn't like a huge step forward into not like that I've been exposed into a lot of, and was also involved in a lot of the philanthropy and not so much on the government side of things. But so it was a fairly easy step to step in as interim.
Okay.
And then it was an interesting process. Yeah. Like applying for your own job.
That you're already doing.
That I was already doing.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did was I eliminated the COO role because I, at that time, was...
It's very Game of Thrones of you right there.
Yeah, right? Well,
we're just going to remove this one right off the table.
It was partly... Well, there was a few reasons, but...
See how you do without me, gang. No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I was at that time. And I still... We were not replacing... we have a VP of operations that, we ended up promoting instead. But...
more like what I'm hearing is you kept things moving forward during that period of time. It wasn't just this no person's land of stalled out.
And I did have advice from some great people around don't act like an interim. And I really took that
Be
to
the
heart.
leader that you are.
Yeah. Like just do what you do. And it's like, I know what we need to do. And
you didn't have one hand tied behind your back.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And it was great with the board. I was very, I said, here's what I'm going to do. We had a bit of a budget issue anyway, so eliminating the COO role kind of worked in our favor. Yep. And just kind of, this is what we're going to do in the interim. And so moving forward there, and the team was the team was amazing. They were very, very supportive. And then the interview processes were weird. I mean, not weird, just kind of felt existential or something, right?
These are all people you knew. These are people that you worked with before. Like it was,
The thing that was
also, are we just having a chat or is this an interview? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, we had a search firm, and because
so you had to deal with.
There was a full process.
Okay, of course, there would need to be.
Yeah, and which was great. The funny thing was that the search firm was doing all this reach out and. People were starting to tell me, I just got approached for your job. And it's just like, okay, I don't really want to know.
Wow, because it is the biggest small town ever we live in. And I guess I could see where that would have moments of weird.
Yeah, so that was...
And now you said that lasted 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
And when you found out, I think there was some time between you found out and when the world found out?
Yes, there was another. And so that was hard not telling the team because I obviously wanted to wait until it was
because you started leading off by you love being transparent.
Yeah.
Now I got to, how's it going? Yeah, good, fine.
Yeah. But I went through 3 interviews. The last one was a presentation on, it's 2030 and what do we look like now, which was a great visioning exercise, which I did for the board. And so, and then when I did get it, it feels good. Like I feel like I earned it.
No, that's fine. How was the visioning exercise? Like, because there's a risk you're too close to it versus someone from the outside who comes in and says a bunch of crazy shit just because they're from the outside.
Yeah.
Like, how hard was that?
Yeah. So
it feels like it was that feels hard to me.
It was really interesting. So I took, okay, so this might be, so there's a show on TV called Glow Up. Have you ever seen it?
No,
it's
I have
on
not.
like Netflix.
I know of it, but
it's like a makeup competition.
Okay, yes.
Where the makeup artists
it may have been on the TV in my house.
Okay.
So I might have walked by and seen it. So
yeah.
yes.
And so there was this one episode where like this is any reality show, right? Where there's some creative, like Project Runway or whatever, right?
Yes. That's also been on the TV in my house.
The judge, I love those. Like those are my guilty pleasure. Those
nice.
Types of shows.
We all have I appreciate that.
Right? There's design.
Confessions of a CEO.
There's competition.
Yeah.
And
there's always time pressure.
Right?
It's got all the formula. It's got the formula figured out.
Yeah. And so one of the ones was the judge was giving feedback to the person. It's like, we just keep seeing the same thing from you. Like, we just keep seeing the same thing from you. And so the person was like, oh, I'm going to really step it up. And so I literally went and I created my presentation and I started it by saying to the board, like, you've only ever seen me in ops. Like, all you've ever seen me is I'm in that board meetings and I'm answering the questions and I'm doing all the things and I'm always in execution. And today I want to show you a different side. And so I just did a full like vision with, I had butterflies in my in my presentation. And
did you turn around, put on different glasses, turn around and like just boom? Like it sounds like it's your from agency. Sometimes you got to pitch.
Well, and
sometimes you got to put on a show.
Yeah, and it was like,
I love it already.
It was just showing, obviously showing a different side, but acknowledging. I think the best thing I did there was state that right at the beginning.
It's a little bit of an accusation.
Here's
I'm going to say it before you even think it.
Yeah. Like I know, like, and I think that's the thing, right? Like, you got to know you're always in your customer's shoes. Like, no matter what you're doing, you're always in your customer's shoes. And so that's the thing that I did there. And I had OpenAI and Anthropic and all these logos all over the building. And we opened up a center of AI and all these things that I put forward. The city buys the building and like all these things.
So you went for it.
I did, and I created it like these are headlines.
Is that a situation where it was riskier not to go for it?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Back to your point about, is this real? It's real and it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was. It was a very, it was a great moment. At first I thought, oh my God, I have to do a 45, like, really?
Well, who doesn't
like,
think?
Come on, haven't I done enough? Haven't I shown enough, right?
But we have a process and you're going to follow it.
And it was great.
How many candidates were pitching, do you know?
I think
I'm calling it pitching.
It was,
how many candidates were presenting?
There was 5 shortlists listed for the second round, and then there was me and one other person for the final.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. That's such an interesting journey. I was so curious from the outside because I was hearing about it and interim CEO. And I'm like, what does that feel like? What's going on over there?
Yeah.
And I think I maybe ran into you once during that time.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting coming in here today. But I was like, okay, what can we talk about?
And the thing that was
very real.
Yeah,
it's a cool journey. It's a very public journey too.
It was. And the thing that was amazing, and with the team. So like I shared, I was telling them, okay, I'm going in, and they're like, good luck, Jen, and like fortifying me in that way. And then I think it was on my second interview.
If you didn't win, were some of them going to mutiny? Like this is a whole thing going on. I like this.
Things like this, right? But then I came back and they created, Napoleon Dynamite and Vote for Pedro.
I do. That's funny, actually.
They created Vote for Jen.
That's such a sign of a great team. That's awesome.
Stickers, and they
it brings a tear to my eyes, the leader. That's awesome.
Oh my God, I was totally crying. And
of course.
They all were wearing Vote for Jen when I came back from that. And I was just like, this is the best moment of my career.
No matter what happens, right there was awesome.
To date, even if I don't get this job, it was incredible. And I think that's just an example of where when you share your vulnerability, you get it back. You get it back in spades, right? Like that. I will remember that the rest of my life in a way that.
Vote for Pedro.
Right? It's so good.
It's so good. But it's such a testament to like, what's the value of investing in your team? What's the value of relational curiosity, actually being curious about them as humans?
Yeah.
What's the value of being honest?
Yeah.
It's all that.
Yeah.
It's intangible until the second it is. And that's the challenge sometimes, like where I've met with leaders that are like, no, I'm just here to do a job. And I'm like, what about the people? Like, well, I can't measure that. Or I'm like, I don't know. I think there is a point like you either believe or you don't. And if you do believe, you lean in. And then you have moments like you had.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's like ownership. Like I feel like I own it, even though I'm not. Right? It's like it is. I'm owning. I treat it like as if it's my own startup or business.
Well, but how much of that coming from the environment where you grew up in?
Yeah.
Where like you watch your parents, like the only reason it got done is because somebody did it, and it's probably me or you.
Yeah. They started a business in our home, explosives business. And I was,
Interesting.
yeah, like, so we had, I was right from the beginning. It was started in the basement and became a, national company that eventually sold. But just to watch watching my parents, navigate this and take risks. And it was obviously the third child and the topic of every dinner. And, you ate it, lived it, breathed it, right? And like, that's, I think, the reason why I'm an entrepreneur is because I grew up in a family that was one. So, yeah.
It's funny. I grew up around a kitchen table. I grew up in a large farm, and farmers are all entrepreneurs, but no one calls themselves that.
Yeah.
They're all entrepreneurs.
Totally.
They don't know, like my dad's like,
They're the
what do you mean a job? I never took a job.
Risk
You have so many variables are getting you. Commodity prices, weather, like wow, whatever the case may be, breakdowns. I grew up around that, and it just wasn't what it was.
Did you were you out on the tractor?
100%. I'm a tractor kid for sure. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, I love driving equipment. I love doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's I do have an appreciation for that now, even more so. There's it's a real world where you get to see the fruits of your labor, pun intended.
Yeah.
Like, we're sometimes in the world we live in, it's just perpetual projects.
Yeah.
Perpetual things to do. I think also to keep myself healthy, I bought a rural property outside of town. And sometimes the weekend I just split wood. Because you know what? I never have to split that piece of wood again. I did the thing. It's a good workout and I love it. But the sense of accomplishment you get from kind of being out in the dirt a little bit.
Do you have a big garden out there?
What's that? I have 70 acres. So I have a very big garden. Oh. And I have tractors and all the toys. Anyways, this is going way off topic. Okay. But again, back to finding balance for yourself, like that moment in time. Like I go out there for 2 days in the weekend and I come back a better leader on Monday.
Yeah.
Because it pushes the reset button for me. And we're veering off into another territory.
Yeah.
But I think for so many leaders, back to those 4 burners, it's really important to understand what does fill up your cup. So then you can show up and be the best version of Leader Tyler, Leader Jen that you need to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to skip over it. I asked you what time it was earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And you said to me, well, Tyler, this doesn't work, but it's my dad's watch. And since you just mentioned, touch on a little bit, having a talisman on your arm every day, I think has got a lot of value.
Yeah. So my mom gave this to my dad when he was still alive. And for whatever reason, he gave it to me while he was still alive. And I've been wearing it every day since. And
did it work when he gave it to you? Or was it
on and off.
Here you go. You might have to fix it. Okay.
I think my mom had it fixed once, and then there was some frustration with it, and so then much to my mother.
But you wear it every day.
I do, yeah. And so he's been gone now like 7 years, and but obviously a massive influence in my life, and I think it's just a presence. I also have his company ring, which I sometimes wear when I have big moments around my neck. I think jewelry for me
have those people in your life too, those role models, those mentors, and that it means something.
Yeah.
And I see the way you touch it.
Yeah.
It creates an anchor for you too. I watch you anchor to it.
Yeah, it's an anchor and it's armor. It's armor too.
Oh, I like that.
And not in a way that's you're defensive, but it's protective.
It's not letting anybody in, but yeah.
And so I have a very large company ring that I have another necklace that I often wear. And if I'm doing something, it's like a 25-year ring that he gave to all his employees. And it's massive. And it's like one of those big Super Bowl rings or something.
That's what I'm pitching. Like a grad ring almost.
I never wear it, but sometimes I just put it around my neck and it's just
but
kind of,
it's such a great example of creating your resource state.
Yeah.
And okay. All right, we're gonna do the thing now. I got my arm around.
It's like regulating,
100%. I think that's so important, especially when you're, as leaders, we're under fire all the time. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. Emails are coming in and people are trying to get reactions from us. So-and-so wants this, so-and-so wants that. Staying centered of who we are as leaders when the world it's really windy out and it's blowing you all over. Everyone's going to laugh. It must have been windy the day these two were talking. It's windy as heck. You'll all remember if you're from Calgary. If you're not, well, we had a windy day. But how do you stay centered? And I think those little, they seem so trite, but they're not. They're really powerful when you're deliberate about it.
Yeah, yeah.
How long have you been wearing it?
Oh, gosh, at least 10 years.
It's awesome. It's a couple lifetimes.
Yeah.
On that note, and maybe I've already kind of posed it, but something I like to talk to people about is when we get called to react versus taking a moment to reflect. And is that when you grab your watch where it's how do we manage that? Because I think I am reactive. I like to react. It's fun. Sometimes I feel it's indulgent, but I usually make better decisions at least after one breath. I don't mean reflect for 2 days.
Yeah.
Let that parasympathetic nervous system come in. So how do you balance off sometimes the desire or the need of the people around you to want you to react versus taking a breath?
Yeah. Sometimes I do that well and sometimes I don't. I think I pride myself on making concise decisions in efficient time frames.
Okay.
So not quick decisions, but
That was very,
I know,
yeah,
I'm very
okay,
careful,
yes.
yeah. Like, because I think I could be a bit impulsive, but I also, like, especially when I started working in the COO role at Platform, where I'm like, okay, I want us to be nimble. I want us to be efficient. I don't want us to
Bias
be
to action.
I don't want us to be a slow-moving government-funded organization. I want us to maybe, directive.
You kind of also have to match the startups you're hanging out with too.
Right?
You can't be like this.
Yeah.
It has to be at least close.
Yeah. So for many reasons, and I think there's been a few times where I've made decisions too quickly, and so I think that's not really answering your question, but I think sometimes I have a gut of what I think, and then I'm training myself to just
it's exactly answering my question.
Yeah, pause, and then, okay, can this wait 24 hours? Or is this something that I know? And then what I do is I get counsel from the leadership team.
Okay,
And so,
fabulous.
and the way that I do that is I say, I have a bias. Here's my bias on this decision. Call this out, check this out. And so I state the bias.
I love it. And you name it.
Yeah, I
and you
name
even
it.
call it that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you give them permission.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so like, I'm chock full of biases too. And they used to lead the day.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, hey guys, I have a bias here. Tell me if I'm out to lunch.
Yeah.
Am I drunk? Am I on the track? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like no wrong answers, kind of thing. But that's been new. That's probably the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Impulsive Tyler was the leader before that.
Okay.
So I resonate with your comment.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels slower, but it's better, right? Like it's
What's to go slow to go fast?
Yeah.
They said it in the other presentation.
Exactly.
Was it slow is smooth and smooth is fast? And
Yeah.
It was Jeff Bezos's thing, Special Forces mantra of like, slow it down. And all of a sudden, wow, we got farther to actually. And especially when you have a team around you.
Yeah.
That holds, go fast by yourself or go far with a team.
Mm-hmm.
What happens how do you manage it when everyone around you is like, I disagree? Like, I think it should be this way, but you still are like, thank you for your feedback. We're still going to do it this way.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. I haven't had a full mutiny yet.
I haven't had a full, I got it.
But there is one thing that's kind of bubbling up right now that we're considering participating in or not. And if we participate in it, it has all of these, incredible opportunities for brand affinity and all this stuff for Platform that I think would be really great. On the other hand, it's going to be a major lift, and we don't have the resource, and we need to go and maybe find a new sponsor and like all these things, right? And I'm over here going, no, we absolutely have to do this. And
the team sees it as a big workload.
And what it brought up for me was, I used to think that, because when I was a CEO, I'm like, oh my God, Terry, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. And now I'm seeing it in real life.
Which is the dichotomy of those two.
Yeah.
So without the COO, do you have the you to counter you?
Well, we have the me.
It's like good, like the CEO Jen and COO Jen sitting on here. You know what I mean?
She's currently on maternity leave though, and so we are at a gap right now.
Okay.
And so our leadership team is. But I promoted her into the role before she went on maternity leave because I think that's really important.
Yes.
And she's been a decade in Platform, and the absolutely right person to lead this work. So she'll be coming out of the programming tree into the operations tree. Yep. And
the model.
Yeah. So right now we are really our leadership team is a little bit stretched. And so I'm very much still kind of in that role, helping along, because it's just, it's not sustainable.
But also it sounds like you're creating, in my opinion, the right tension, because as the leader, you are looking further down the road. You're looking at the bigger lift. Mm-hmm. And I've had this happen. Hey, I landed a new client. The team's like, that just means more work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can't ignore it, but you also can't let it stop you from having the bigger vision.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you're not doing your job.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tricky balance.
It is.
Where I respect and we'll do what we can to help you guys, but we're going this way. We're going this way anyways, because I got to make that call.
Yeah. One thing I was doing on this that example is like, what is the minimum you think that we could do in order to get what I want over here?
Yeah.
And still keep the
Which
team.
is reframing the situation, right? Without having everybody have a complete meltdown.
Yeah. And also kind of just trying to shrink it into what's the minimum, like an MVP, like thinking like a startup, right? Like, what's the MVP on this idea? What's the bare minimum we could do in this year to test this? And then, what would be the next thing we would do? And so really trying to take lean startup methodology and practice it in real life. Yeah.
Do you ever catch yourself COOing your own ideas before the CEO visionary can run with it?
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing that to make sense. It's like, okay, what am I trying to ask here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the two sides of your brain or whatever. Not
I
that that's
often
how it
get
works.
stuck in the how, right? And
Yeah.
and in fact, even I'm not new, but I'm on another area which was not on the docket, but like around being on boards and governance.
Mhm.
And so I'm on a board. I'm on the Bethany Seniors Board.
Okay.
And the thing about being on a board, and I've been trying to get on real boards. Real boards. I've been on like small
I know what you
boards.
mean. I totally
this
get
is
it.
my first real board.
Yeah, I get it. I
Capital
have
B
lots of
board.
friends that are on. Yeah. Capital B.
Yeah. And I'm also doing my ICD right now, which is like amazing. But
Oh, okay, cool.
what I was gonna
we'll talk about that offline. But
being on a board and governing another organization is so cathartic in helping you govern your own organization.
Oh, that's great to hear.
And
Okay.
it was really interesting that way. And I just totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I know, because I'm often on that board still stopping myself from solutioning or
Totally.
saying something
Which
that's
is not your job. Not your
operational
job.
and in the weeds and right. And so it's just something to practice.
So
was
many
my
of us
point
have
there.
spent our careers getting rewarded for being good at that.
Yeah.
GST gets you done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
so
that's an interesting balance.
Mhm. So I try to put on that hat.
Self-curiosity never goes away, right? Or it shouldn't. If it does, usually you find yourself running off a cliff by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, why am I thinking this way? Shit, I could have really bring it up a little bit. Those little chats with self, I find very valuable.
Yeah.
and finding time and creating a little. How do you create the space and time? Is it that time in the morning? Is it that time to breathe?
Yeah, that time in the morning, and then time with
Are you pretty disciplined with that? Like, this is my time, and it needs to be my time.
Yeah, I mean, I just gotta wake up at that time, no matter what, and then so that's nice. It's not hard for me to get up, and then I have two adult daughters that are currently both miraculously living with me right now, 26 and 20 and 23.
Is that the world? Is that the world we live in?
Yeah, so that's a huge grounding thing for me, just spending time with them,
cool.
and my partner, of course, and that. But yeah, things outside of. I mean, I'm always kind of working and
that's why I asked about how to create a little space.
Yeah.
Because man, I'd be more curious if I had more time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be more open. I think I'd explore more ideas.
Yeah.
But yet in those leadership roles, you have to keep that space.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not exposing yourself to like just the opportunity to think,
Mm-hmm.
how do you come up with the big ideas?
Yeah.
Or recognize them when they come. I think sometimes is even the case.
Or forcing myself into something like, do you know the stump craft puzzles? They're so incredible.
What
Those
are they?
Wooden puzzles. They're stump craft.
Okay, no,
Calgary
I don't.
guy.
My wife is an obsessive puzzler, so
Okay,
they
stump
haven't
craft.
found their way into my house
Shout
yet.
out for stump craft.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Christmas 26, I've got my thing.
They're
Stump
really
craft.
intricate, complex puzzles.
Oh.
And that, like, when you force yourself into that, or something for me as well is like small home reno projects, like painting or doing like
back to doing something with your hands.
Yeah,
and like
where
building
you
a
have
puzzle.
to focus on cutting the line between the wall and the ceiling, like things like that, where you just can't think about anything else.
Forces you into that kind of flow state. Yeah. I do. I'm a huge advocate of those things, and because I'm a better version of me when I do them.
Yeah.
I'm a less better version when I don't.
Yeah.
As my wife has pointed out to me multiple times. But I've just stopped denying it now. I fill my life with those things.
Yeah.
Because then Leader Tyler on Monday is much more balanced, a little bit, maybe just wound it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Thinking my own journey. I know so many leaders, back to those 4 burners, we turn that work burner up and we crank it, and then the rest of the burners kind of go stale. Maybe we're doing more, but are we accomplishing anymore? I don't know. And I think that's where the self-curiosity of like, is this really working or is it not? Or having someone in your world, confrontation, they can say, hey, maybe a heads up over here.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a blind spot you're not seeing.
Yeah.
It's just so critical. That's why like, being mentors and surrounding ourselves as mentors are critical.
Yeah.
What last question? I promise. What gets you the most excited about the back to that 2030 vision? But what are you actually putting into play?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had all kinds of ideas in there around, Calgary is there was a lot of city building stuff in there where Calgary is the darling of Canada for leading AI and entrepreneurship and like all these kinds of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that, we're always measuring ourselves against, all these other other global, and I mean, that is important. Yes. And
we still need to be our version of us.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm pushed back. I used to be on board with that a little bit, and I've started pushing back against it.
Yeah.
We're going to be the best version of being us. We're not going to be Waterloo. We're not going to be Silicon Valley. We're not going to be wherever. Pick a spot.
And so, I still like, it would be ideal if we could I mean, this isn't really that vision. I mean, this is Brad Zumwalt's vision. It's like, can we just try to get to 5% of GDP here? And I mean, I know that's a very, ec dev kind of thing, but like really, like, I'm tired of us being in this little echo chamber and all the tech people just talking to themselves and saying, "Oh, this is so great! This is so great! This is so great!" It's like everyone in this city knows what Platform does. We're not. Yes, you can park there, but like more than a parkade, right? And
Think
so,
bigger, be bigger.
yeah, like really part of the fabric of the city where we become like the library. Like everyone knows what the library is. Everyone should know what Platform is. And we are
And the role it plays.
open door. And I think for youth, right? Like where we've got programs that can help from high school through, it would be, or is an area where like we have to go upstream and we haven't been able to do that yet, right? So that would be on the horizon for us too, is how can we get into high schools and
well, just expanding the influence, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think with the Calgary Innovation Strategy, there's been a ton of work done on collaboration across the city as it comes to tech and innovation, where we have all these nodes of different sectors, and you're seeing it like all over the place, right? Like collaboration is
the last 5 years has kind of been nuts in the city.
Yeah.
Like the wayfinding of it all is kind of blows your mind a little bit.
Yeah. And so, no, I think that it feels like we've evolved into a place where, I mean, this is what Platform does. We never build anything unless no one else has done it that we can't partner with. Right. And so but you see it across the board in like, the most recent, the Transportation Logistics Hub, which has, industry and academia and government all coming together. And we're like, the collaboration really it's everywhere now. And people, I think, are finally realizing that. And with what's happening outside of, other sides of the border, like all the promotion to work better together as a country.
Yes, if there's been some positive side effects, which there's a few out of that whole schmozzle, let's just call it that.
Yeah.
I think it's forced us or given us a kick in the pants to go, hey, maybe we can get a little better at this with, working with each other and what's in front of us.
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, I'd love to see the entire parkade turned into, because that whole building is convertible.
I know that was the concept, right?
We could flip that out. I'm not sure that would happen in 5 years, but.
Well, hey, 6 years ago, it was Terry, or 7 years ago, Terry telling me about this. We're going to build a parking garage for innovation. Like this, maybe not his words. I'm paraphrasing now, which I am. But don't underestimate what could happen in the next 5 or 6 years, especially with the right leaders in the seat. So thanks for coming on. Thank you for being transparent.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for your willingness to have a good old-fashioned conversation.
Thank you so much, Tyler. I really enjoyed this chat.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.